How do dogs not develop respiratory alkalosis when panting?
Lung doctor do hyperventilate when they pant, which can lead to respiratory different levels of panting. At lower temperatures, the panting isn't as pronounced, and the amount of air moved is relatively small. Like the volume of air is 50 milliliters, and the volume of the airway is 100 milliliters. This airway volume is called anatomic dead space. It doesn't participate in gas exchange. In this case, there isn't any respiratory. If you agitate the air enough, the physiologic dead space will decrease.
If the volume of air is 50 milliliters, but the dog is panting super fast, the air in the airway is mixing so much that there is increased gas exchange, and the dog will hyperventilate, which will result in respiratory. Ideal frequency of panting will depend on the resonant frequency of the respiratory system, so it is basically a function of the size of the animal.
In sick human patients, we used to use a mechanical ventilation mode called high-frequency oscillatory ventilation, where we use tiny breath volumes much lower than anatomic dead space, and frequencies of 300-900 times a minute. It's the equivalent of panting. It was thought to protect the lung in acute respiratory distress syndrome. It fell out of favor after the Oscillate trial, which was stopped early due to increased mortality. It's still used in kids.
I think there was another study in kids that was going on but got derailed during COVID. I'm unsure of its current status. Anyway, in that mode of ventilation, you could definitely blow off carbon dioxide even though the tidal volume was less than the anatomic dead. I teach this to students. I often use an analogy of someone lighting a scented candle in the corner of a room. It might take a few minutes for someone at the other end to smell it.
But if there is a ton of agitation in the room, like fans or people moving around, you would likely smell it sooner.